The discovery. The grand chamber of the Galactic Federation stretched impossibly wide, its crystalline walls reflecting the light of 1,000 holographic star systems. Representatives from 47 civilizations gathered around the circular platform, their forms as diverse as the worlds they called home. Some floated in specialized atmospheric pods, others stood on multiple limbs, and a few existed as pure energy contained within mechanical shells. Admiral Vextar of the Corellian Empire dominated the center podium, his four arms gesturing dramatically as his voice boomed through the universal translator system. The massive reptilian being's scales shifted from deep blue to irritated orange as he addressed the assembly. Esteemed colleagues, his deep voice rumbled like distant thunder, we waste precious time discussing this piece of space debris. Our sensors indicate it's nothing more than a derelict vessel, likely thousands of years old. Primitive construction, outdated systems, and no detectable power signatures worth investigating. The holographic display above them flickered to life, showing a massive ship drifting through the darkness of space. Its hull bore the scars of countless micrometeorite impacts, and entire sections appeared to be missing or damaged beyond recognition. To most observers, it looked like exactly what Admiral Vextar described: worthless space junk. Ambassador Zelith of the Aquarian Collective raised one of her translucent tentacles, water swirling within her environmental suit. With respect, Admiral, the ship's trajectory suggests it originated from beyond the outer rim. No known civilization has successfully navigated the dark expanse. Perhaps we should at least conduct a preliminary investigation. A ripple of murmurs passed through the assembly. The dark expanse was legendary among spacefaring races, a region of space where conventional physics seemed to break down, where navigation systems failed, and where ships disappeared without a trace. Nothing had ever been known to cross it successfully. Precisely why this is a waste of resources, Vextar countered, his tail lashing behind him. If this vessel somehow traversed the dark expanse, it would be so damaged as to be worthless. More likely, it's simply another casualty that somehow drifted free. Commander Thalia Rain watched the debate from her position near the back of the chamber. As one of the newer members of the Federation Council, representing the Nexari Commonwealth, she had learned to observe carefully before speaking. Her species, with their empathic abilities and natural curiosity, often served as mediators in galactic disputes. The derelict ship on the display called to her in ways she couldn't explain. There was something about its design. Angular yet elegant, functional yet somehow artistic. The battle scars on its hull spoke of survival against impossible odds, not mere decay from age. If I may, Thalia's melodic voice cut through the growing arguments, causing heads to turn in her direction. Her silver-blue skin seemed to glow softly under the chamber's lights, and her large, dark eyes held a determination that surprised even her. The Nexari Commonwealth volunteers to investigate the derelict. We'll use our own resources, requiring no expenditure from the Federation Treasury. Admiral Vextar's scales flickered with surprise. Commander Rain, surely your people have more pressing matters than chasing phantom ships. Thalia stepped forward, her flowing robes rustling like whispered secrets. Perhaps, Admiral. But my people believe that the greatest discoveries often come from investigating what others dismiss. If the ship proves worthless, we've lost nothing but time. If it holds secrets, she let the possibility hang in the air. Councillor Drix of the Mechanari Synthesis spoke next, his robotic form adjusting its vocal processors. Logic supports Commander Rain's proposal. The probability of discovery, while low, carries potentially high rewards. The risk-to-benefit ratio favors investigation. The debate continued for another hour, but Thalia had already won. The council voted to allow her expedition, though many members made their skepticism clear. As the assembly dispersed, she felt a presence beside her, Chief Engineer Crix of the Voltani, a being of pure energy contained within a humanoid-shaped field. "You see something in that ship," Crix observed, his form crackling with curiosity. "Something the others miss." Thalia nodded, her empathic senses picking up genuine interest from the engineer. There's purpose in its design, structure that speaks of intention, not random chance. I can't explain it better than that. Then I'm coming with you, Crix declared. My people live for mysteries, and this one has caught my attention. Within days, Thalia had assembled a diverse crew of volunteers. Besides Crix, she recruited Dr. Yasin, a Terranovian xenobiologist known for his unconventional theories, Lieutenant Zorak, a Gentari warrior whose people valued honor and discovery equally, and Specialist Mira, a young Pleiadian whose species had recently discovered faster-than-light travel and maintained an infectious enthusiasm for exploration. Their ship, the Curious Endeavor, approached the derelict vessel slowly. As they drew closer, the true scale of the ancient craft became apparent. It stretched nearly 2 kilometers in length, its hull a patchwork of different materials and repair jobs that spoke of a long, eventful journey. Preliminary scans are unusual, Crix reported from his station, his energy form interfacing directly with the ship's sensors. The hull composition includes elements we can't identify. The metallurgy is unlike anything in our databases. Dr. Yasin leaned over his console, his feathered crest rising in excitement. Look at these readings. The ship's superstructure shows signs of adaptive engineering. Modifications made during flight. Improvements built upon improvements. Whoever constructed this vessel didn't just build it. They evolved it. Thalia studied the tactical display, her fingers tracing the ship's outline. Any signs of life? Negative, Lieutenant Zorak growled, his 4 eyes focused on different monitors simultaneously. No biological signatures, no active energy sources. But he paused, his massive frame tensing. There are sealed sections, areas our scans can't penetrate. Fascinating. Specialist Mira chirped, her enthusiastic youth showing. The shielding on those sections uses a quantum entanglement matrix I've never seen before. It's like someone locked those areas in a temporal bubble. As the Curious Endeavor matched velocity with the derelict, Thalia made her decision. Prepare a boarding party. Crix, Zorak, you're with me. Yasin, Mira, monitor from here and maintain constant communication. The docking procedure proved challenging. The derelict's hull was covered in unfamiliar symbols and markings, some etched deep into the metal, others painted with substances that had somehow survived the vacuum of space. They finally located what appeared to be an airlock, its design both alien and oddly intuitive. As their shuttle approached, something unexpected happened. Lights began to flicker along the derelict's hull, not random electrical discharges, but a deliberate pattern, as if the ship was awakening from a long slumber. Commander, Crix's voice crackled with energy and excitement. I'm detecting a power surge. Minimal, but growing. The ship, it knows we're here. Thalia felt her heart rate quicken, a mixture of anticipation and apprehension flooding through her. Steady, everyone. We proceed as planned, but stay alert. The airlock cycled open with surprising smoothness, revealing a corridor beyond. The boarding party stepped inside, their environmental suits humming quietly. The ship's interior was a study in contrasts. Advanced technology married to practical, almost primitive solutions. Cables ran along walls like veins, and patches of different materials showed where repairs had been made with whatever was available. Atmosphere is thin but present, Zorak reported, mostly nitrogen and oxygen. Breathable for several species, including yours, Commander. They moved deeper into the ship, their lights casting dancing shadows on walls covered in more of the strange symbols. Some areas showed signs of combat. Blast marks, melted metal, improvised barricades. Others displayed an almost artistic sensibility, with murals painted directly onto bulkheads. It was Crix who made the first significant discovery. His energy form suddenly flared brighter as he interfaced with the wall panel. Commander, you need to see this. The panel had activated at his touch, displaying information in the same unknown script. But as they watched, The symbols began to shift and change, reorganizing themselves into galactic standard. WLCOMEM ABO or DTAUES Perseverance. The screen read, United Earth Ship, Launch DSTA or DAT 2387 4.15. Mission, Survival of Species. Status, Awaiting Command Authorization. Philia felt the universe shift around her. Earth, the mythical world that existed only in ancient legends, spoken of in whispers among the oldest spacefaring races, the supposed birthplace of a species that had vanished into history so long ago that most considered them fiction. This can't be, Zorik breathed, his warrior's composure cracking. The humans were a myth. Stories told to younglings about a race that dared too much, reached too far. But the evidence was mounting. As they explored further, they found more displays activating, more systems coming online. Personal quarters revealed artifacts that spoke of a vibrant civilization, photographs of families, children's drawings, books in a language that the ship's systems gradually translated for them. In what appeared to be the captain's ready room, they discovered the first log entries. A holographic projection flickered to life, showing a human figure, Bictal, surprisingly similar to several Federation species, but with an intensity in their eyes that spoke of desperate determination. Captain Maria Santos. Final log entry before entering the dark expanse. The figure spoke, her voice carrying across the centuries. We've lost contact with Earth. The scourge has taken everything. Our colonies, our fleets, our hope, but not our will to survive. The Perseverance carries the last of humanity's children in cryosleep. We'll find a new home beyond the dark expanse, or we'll die trying. To whoever finds this ship, remember us. Remember that we tried. The hologram faded, leaving the boarding party in stunned silence. Humans were real. They had existed, and this ship was their ark, their desperate attempt to escape some terrible fate. Commander, Crix's voice was unusually subdued. I'm detecting active cryogenic systems in the sealed sections. If the humans truly placed their children in stasis, Philia didn't need him to finish. The implications were staggering. Not only was this ship a piece of living history, but it might contain actual human survivors, the last of their species, preserved against time itself. She activated her communicator. Curious endeavor. This is Commander Rain. You're not going to believe what we found. As she began to relay their discoveries, the ancient ship continued to awaken around them. Lights flickered on in long dormant corridors, and somewhere deep in the vessel's heart, systems that had waited patiently for millennia began their startup sequences. The Galactic Federation had dismissed this ship as worthless debris. They were about to learn how wrong they were. The humans might have vanished from the galaxy, but their legacy, their innovation, their determination, their refusal to surrender, lived on in the metal and circuits of the Perseverance. And perhaps, just perhaps, some of them lived on in more than just memory. The real journey was just beginning. First contact with the past. The news from Commander Thalia spread through the curious endeavor like wildfire. Dr. Yassin's feathered crest stood completely upright as he processed the incoming data, while Specialist Mira bounced excitedly in her seat, her natural Pleiadian glow intensifying with each revelation. Humans. Real humans. Mira exclaimed, her voice hitting frequencies that made the communication system crackle. Do you understand what this means? Every archaeological theory, every ancient text that mentioned them. It was all true. Dr. Yassin was more reserved but equally fascinated. Commander Rain, we need to proceed with extreme caution. If there are indeed cryogenic systems still active, any sudden power surge or environmental change could be catastrophic. Back aboard the Perseverance, Philia and her team moved deeper into the ship. The vessel seemed to respond to their presence, more systems activating as they progressed. Wall panels displayed schematics and technical readouts that gradually translated themselves into readable text. Look at this, Crix said, his energy form interfacing with a maintenance terminal. The ship's power distribution is unlike anything I've seen. They're using a cascading fusion system with multiple redundancies. If one reactor fails, others compensate automatically. But that's not the impressive part. He gestured to a holographic display showing the ship's power grid. They've integrated biological components into their technology. These conduits aren't just metal and circuits. They're partially organic, capable of self-repair and adaptation. Lieutenant Zorak examined a wall panel that had been damaged in some long-ago battle. Where the metal had been torn away, a strange fibrous material had grown to seal the breach. "By the Ancient Ones," he rumbled. "The ship heals itself." They entered what appeared to be an engineering bay. Tools hung on walls, some familiar in function if not in form, others completely mysterious. Workbenches displayed half-finished projects, as if the engineers had just stepped away moments ago, rather than centuries past. Philia picked up a device that resembled a scanner. The moment her fingers touched it, the tool activated, its display showing a diagnostic readout of her own biological systems. The text shifted from the human language to galactic standard as she watched. "Adaptive technology," she murmured. "It learns from the user." "Commander," Zorak called from across the bay. His 4 eyes were fixed on a large sealed door marked with warning symbols. "This appears to be a restricted area. The markings indicate extreme caution." Crix floated over to examine the door's control panel. "Heavy encryption, but it's degraded over time. I can bypass it, but..." He paused as the panel suddenly flared to life. The door's locking mechanism disengaged with a deep thrum that resonated through the deck plates. "It opened for us," Philia observed. "The ship wants us to see what's inside." Beyond the door lay a vast chamber filled with cylindrical pods arranged in concentric circles. Each pod was connected to a central power core that pulsed with a soft blue light. The air was noticeably colder here, and their breath formed clouds in the chill. "Cryogenic storage," Dr. Yassin's voice came through their communicators, his sensors picking up their readings. "Commander, I'm detecting. By the stars, there are over 1,000 pods in that chamber." Most of the pods were dark, their contents long since expired. But scattered throughout the chamber, dozens still glowed with active status lights. Philia approached the nearest functioning pod, her heart racing. Through the frosted viewport, she could make out a small face. A human child, no more than 10 years old by her estimation, suspended in perfect stasis. The pod's display showed vital signs, all stable, all waiting. "They're alive," she whispered. "After all this time, they're still alive." Crix had interfaced with the chamber's control system. "Commander, I'm accessing the stasis logs. These children were placed in suspension over 2,000 years ago. The system has been maintaining them automatically, prioritizing power to the remaining viable pods as others failed." "The ship kept them safe," Zorak said, his warrior's voice uncharacteristically soft. "For 2 millennia, it protected them." Suddenly, alarms began blaring throughout the ship. The lighting shifted to emergency red, and a new voice echoed through the corridors. Artificial, but somehow warm and concerned. "Warning. Core systems detecting multiple breaches in security protocols. Unauthorized access to critical areas. Initiating defensive measures." "It's the ship's eye," Crix realized. "It's been dormant, but our presence has triggered full activation." The voice continued, identifying intruders. "Species unknown. Threat assessment in progress. Warning. Cryogenic systems are priority 1. Any hostile action will be met with..." The voice paused, then shifted in tone. "Wait. Biosigns indicate non-hostile intent. Emotional patterns suggest curiosity, concern. Updating parameters." A holographic figure materialized before them. A human woman in a uniform bearing the same UES insignia they'd seen throughout the ship. Her expression was stern but not unkind. "I am Era, Adaptive Response Intelligence Assistant. I serve as the guardian of the Perseverance and her precious cargo. You are not human, yet you show no signs of the scourge. Explain your presence." Philia stepped forward, her empathic abilities reaching out carefully. She sensed vast loneliness in the AI, millennia of faithful service with no one to serve. "I am Commander Thalia Rain of the Galactic Federation," she said gently. "We discovered your ship drifting in space. We mean no harm to you or those in your care. We want to help." Aria's holographic form flickered, processing this information. "Galactic Federation. This designation is not in my databases. How long? What is the current date by your calendar?" When Philia told her, the AI's expression shifted to something like shock. 2,347 years. I have maintained the vigil for over 2 millennia. Her image wavered. And Earth? What news of Earth? The silence that followed told Aria everything. Her holographic shoulders sagged, but only for a moment before she straightened with renewed purpose. "Then my mission continues. The children are all that remain of humanity. They must be protected." "We can help," Philia insisted. "Our medical technology has advanced considerably. We can ensure their safety, perhaps even find them a new home." Aria studied them for a long moment. "You speak truth. My sensors detect no deception. Very well. I will share our history with you. Perhaps the time of hiding is finally over." The AI guided them to the ship's central command center. As they walked, she explained the ship's systems, pointing out innovations that made even Crix's energy form flicker with excitement. The Perseverance was humanity's greatest achievement, Aria said with pride. "Built in secret as our last hope when the scourge began consuming our worlds. Every system was designed with one goal: survival at any cost." The command center was a marvel of efficient design. Displays came alive as they entered, showing star charts, system status, and historical logs. Aria activated the main holographic projector, and the room filled with images of Earth, blue and green and beautiful. "This was our home," she said softly, "before the scourge came." The images shifted, showing massive biomechanical constructs descending from space, consuming everything in their path. Cities fell, fleets burned, and world after world went dark. "We never learned where they came from," Aria continued. "They appeared at the edge of our space and began consuming everything. Matter, energy, life itself. Our weapons were ineffective. Our shields meant nothing. We had only one option: run." "The dark expanse," Zorik rumbled in understanding. "You fled through the most dangerous region of space to escape." Aria nodded. "The scourge feared the expanse. Something about its nature disrupted their hive-mind connection. Captain Santos theorized that if we could survive the passage, we'd emerge where they couldn't follow." She showed them logs of the journey, spatial anomalies that defied physics, crew members sacrificing themselves to keep the ship running, systems failing, and being rebuilt with desperate ingenuity. "We lost so much," Aria said, "but the children survived. That was all that mattered." Crix had been examining the technical displays. This adaptive technology, did humans develop it in response to the scourge? In part, Aria confirmed, but humans always had a gift for innovation under pressure. We called it percussive maintenance. When something broke, we fixed it with whatever was at hand. When that failed, we invented new solutions. The Perseverance is a testament to that philosophy. She showed them more systems, weapons that learned from each encounter, shields that adapted to new threats, engines that could burn almost any fuel source. Everything designed not for elegance, but for survival. "Your people were remarkable," Philia said, genuine admiration in her voice. "Were?" Aria's expression sharpened. "Commander Rain, as long as those children live, humanity is not past tense. We are diminished, but not extinct." Back on the Curious Endeavor, news of the discovery was creating ripples throughout the Federation. Dr. Yasin was correlating the ship's logs with ancient archaeological findings, while Mira worked to establish better communication protocols with Araya. "Commander," Yasin's excited voice came through the comm. "I found references to humanity in the oldest Gintari texts. They speak of the builders who came before, and the ones who dared the dark expanse. The timeline matches perfectly." Philia made a decision. "Araya, we need to inform the Federation Council about your situation. But I promise you, we will advocate for the children's safety above all else." The AI considered this. "I have monitored your interactions, Commander. Your species possesses empathic abilities. I can sense your genuine desire to help. Very well. But understand this. The Perseverance's defensive systems remain active. Any threat to the children will be met with full force." As if to emphasize her point, previously hidden weapon ports revealed themselves along the ship's hull. Energy readings spiked to levels that made even Zorak's warrior instincts tingle with respect. "Understood," Thelia said. "We'll proceed with full transparency." As they prepared to return to their ship, Crix lingered at one of the engineering consoles. "Araya, this quantum processing system, it's beyond anything we've developed. How do humans conceive of such technology?" The AI's expression shifted to something almost like amusement. "Humans had a saying, 'Necessity is the mother of invention.' When faced with extinction, we found necessity to be a very demanding parent indeed." The boarding party made their way back through the ship, now understanding that every jury-rigged system, every improvised repair, represented humanity's refusal to surrender. The Perseverance wasn't just a ship, it was a monument to the indomitable will to survive. As they reached the airlock, Araya's hologram appeared one final time. "Commander Rain, I have made a decision. I will allow one of the cryogenic pods to be transferred to your ship for medical evaluation. If your technology can truly help the children, we must explore that option." Philia felt the weight of responsibility settling on her shoulders. "We won't let you down, Araya. Humanity's children will have a future. I promise you that." The AI nodded slowly. "For 2,000 years, I have waited for someone to say those words. Perhaps the time of isolation is ending. Perhaps humanity can once again take its place among the stars." As the curious Endeavor departed with its precious cargo, one pod containing a sleeping human child, the Perseverance followed, its ancient engines humming to life with renewed purpose.